Dani here, and welcome to the Somnia Tarot walkthrough. Somnia Tarot, you guys. Okay, so I am in love with this deck in so many ways and for so many reasons. I mean, I feel like I'm always oh my god, this deck is the best, I love it. But I mean, if I'm buying it, I'm obviously loving it. But this holds something completely different, and I am legit obsessed with it. This has been a long time coming. I've been trying to get this video out, but then I was like, oh, I want to wait until I get the big guidebook. And then I read the whole thing, and then there was a chain of events that kind of kept pushing this back. So we're going to do a twofer. For this week, I'm going to do Somnia Tarot and the Fat Folks Tarot and get those two videos out for you guys because I wanted to get these out. So, okay. Somnia Tarot. Let's talk about this. So, this is by Nicholas Bruno. Absolutely beautifully done deck, in my opinion. I am enthralled by the whole thing. So, as far as the box goes, we do get a nice, sturdy, let's see if I can get it popped open, cardboard box. The paper, I'm trying to see if I can catch it. On the back and front and sides, we have some foiling, but there is also a slight linen texture to the paper on the box. It comes with a very, very basic, as you can see, little white book. Nothing much to it as far as that goes, but a great start nonetheless. I did, however, purchase the companion book, which is quite a chunker, honestly. Full color, really great. We'll kind of look at this in a bit, but I will say up at the top, is it necessary? No. But after reading this cover to cover, I really don't feel like I would want to be without it, if that makes sense. You don't need it to understand the deck and to have it as a usable deck, but I did find it incredibly helpful to kind of get into the mind of Nicholas Bruno as he made this. But we'll read from it and we'll talk about it in a little bit. Okay, let's scooch this over. Let's talk about the cards themselves. So this is the back, non-reversible, I guess you would say. It's got the coin or the disc symbol on the back. There we go. I have Mystic Masters here. It's only slightly bigger than standard size. Not too bad. It is a thick, I'm gonna say it's art paper. Don't quote me, but it feels more papery than plasticky, if that makes sense. I'm trying to see if it said. Of course it won't. But I don't remember the full specs of it, but you can see it's a very chunky deck. It's thick. It is a bit hard to shuffle, I will say that, but we'll talk about that a little more later too. Let's go ahead and look at the cards themselves first. So as you can see, this is the Fool. Now, it is a bit dark. Even in person, it's kind of dark. I'm trying to see, it's not glossy, but it's also not matte. It's literally like I said, kind of like an art paper, I would assume, where it's not, I don't know, it's not quite anything. But there isn't a huge glare. But you will note, I'm trying to get it to focus like this. I don't know if it will. Probably not. But the images are rather dark. From what I understand, in this new edition, it will be a little bit easier to see. It'll be brighter. And I have heard some talk about it being borderless, Maybe, question mark. I'm not really positive. If it is, I mean, I would like to have a borderless copy. I've seen a lot of people take the borders off and modify this, which I think is a fantastic idea. I haven't done it yet. I've been working with it like this. So I guess we'll kind of see how that plays out for me. I love modifying decks, but I'm not sure yet. But it looks so good without it, so I guess we'll see. So we have our Fool kind of coming out the window. These images are, I freaking love them. I have a thing for people kind of shrouded in kind of like, I don't know, like material. Whether it be like a sheer fabric or like an opaque fabric. I love the imagery of a shadowed person, right? Of like a shrouded figure. I don't know. It's just very aesthetically pleasing to me, because I feel like we can see ourselves better in there. We can see others. It's like also a little bit of kind of fear tacked to it, as well as intrigue and mystery. Like there's just a whole lot that can be taken from a shrouded figure. So like that's kind of like a thing for me. I love it. Fountain Tarot has some beautiful shrouded figures in it. So like I was pretty much sold the first time I saw images from this deck. But here you can see our Magician has everything. They have a lot, like the composition of each photo for this is like a lot of symbolism for every little piece. Now I will say this is unlike any deck I have. Unless my mind has completely left me, which is not, I can't rule that out, right? But I don't think I have any deck like this. Photo deck, I don't think I have a single other thing like this. Some of my oracles have like photo related things, like actual people and things like that. I do have those in my oracle collection, but I find that even those are very highly edited, whereas this, everything is in the photo. There's nothing really like obviously added, right? It's not like collage style, or however you'd want to say that. This is like different. It's just different all the way around. Anyway, let's keep going. This is gonna take forever if I don't. Oh, this High Priestess with the two pillars of smoke behind. Gorgeous. The Empress. The Emperor. Some of the descriptions that are used in the companion book like really make the deck for me. This Strength, I hope you can see it well. There is like a huge bear trap that she is trying to open. We have the Hermit walking into the waves. Wheel of Fortune. Now some of these are mannequins, some are real people. The horses are, it's just like a mannequin, right? This, I would have never noticed if I didn't read about it. I can't really see. It's like you can't really see the person's face. It looks like it's all covered. But if you look in the reflection, you can see the hair. I thought that was really, really interesting. This Death card. Holy poop shoots. This Temperance too is... We have the Devil. The Tower. Oh, gosh, I love this. The Star. The Moon. Another beautiful image. Coming out of the water. It's like a person versus like the lobster or crawfish or crab, whatever you will, whatever the deck kind of showcases. Like having the person try to like climb out of this water into the sky is beautiful. the sun. And again, the imagery, this like red robe is like something that in the guidebook is talked about. Like, again, everything is so steeped in symbolism and meaning that, like I said, you don't need the companion book, but to learn more about the images and the depth that really came to this, you can tell that he knew tarot, that he understood, that he had a real passion for what he was doing. Oops, sorry. And then we go to the minors, equally as steeped in symbolism. So we start with the swords. Some are very traditional, others are very unique. I love this Four of Swords. 5. Love this too. The Seven of Swords, kind of carrying that all on your back in this treacherous landscape to just kind of slide back down. 8 of Swords. I love this image. Like, honestly, it makes me feel like, I don't know, like, it gives me some Louisiana vibes. Even though I know this was, like, way up north. I want to say on Long Island. I still feel that this swampy area in this place that they did this whole shoot, it was like very similar places. He talks about the different spots and stuff sometimes in the guidebook, but like as a visual, like I see what I know in this card. You know what I mean? Like I see something very familiar to me, and I really love when I can see those kind of things in a deck. 9 of Swords. The 10. I immediately think of Sweeney Todd. the new one that Tim Burton did with Johnny Depp, where he puts the Signor Pirelli in the trunk. That's exactly what I think of. And then we have our court. Again, I love the draped horses. The queens, I really love the queens. Like, all of them are so beautiful. Again, I like the repeated imagery as well. Like, I will say, they have, like, a lot of stuff is, like, repeated for a reason. And, like, we get nods to different things, and we see kind of similar objects being used. Like, the sandbags that held the kind of, like, hot air balloon basket. We saw them in an earlier card in the, I want to say in the 4? No, it wasn't the 4. Let me see. Let me find. Oh, look, literally the 6. I pulled it to the exact spot. So we see in the 6 of Swords kind of going away, we have the rips in the bags, the sand is falling out. And then our King of Swords has punctured our bags and he is filled with sand, right? So I really like that kind of nod to things, and it brings everything together to me. And I think that's why I like the fact that they used a few landscapes and we see them repeated, whereas normally I'd be like, this looks all the same. There's such a distinct storyline to this that I feel like it only enhances it. 2 of Wands. This reminds me of Sansa walking the halls on Game of Thrones when she puts the lit candle in the window. Matter of fact, the star card, which I'll try to put a picture of it over here. The star card, she is standing, you know, in that window with the lit candle from the Game of Thrones tarot, and this is what it reminded me of. But that also kind of makes sense too. So anyway, we have our 3 of Wands, kind of going out to get the thing. 4. Love this 5 of Wands. The blowing out of someone else's candle. I dig it. 6. But again, it's like they started out in the 3, searching, you know, like going to this place, and now they're here, and that's kind of like that victorious stance. I really like that. 7 of Wands. the 8, that kind of pendulum swinging. And then the 9, you have it in the water. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, I love the storylines through it. It's so good. The 10. And then we have this, like, really strange, I hope you can see it well. Come on. Try to get it to, maybe if I put it over here. Come on. Not my hands. Shoot. See if I can get it to do. It might be because of the lighting as well. Like, it really just does not want to focus on this. Come on. There we go. Check this little apparatus out. Our court cards literally have like this kind of candelabra on their face. Sorry. Check it out. Isn't that crazy? Come on, refocus. Come on down. There we go. Sorry. So yeah, we have this really neat apparatus for all of the wands. Just such a unique look to it. I'm gonna push this down. So onto the cups, the well, 2 of cups. I love these like buckets that are used. 3, 4. Can I just say, like, I don't know why this reminds me of the Deviant Moon. If I remember, I'll put it right here too. The Deviant Moon 3 of Cups, when they're in that fish. I guess it just feels like they're in the mouth of something kind of coming out, but anyway, it reminded me of that. Then we have the 4, which I love the imagery of this one. It is a little hard to see, I think, for you guys as well, but it's a really beautiful thing. Again, having that umbrella tied in this rain, I love this imagery. 6, really cool. 7, 8, 9, overflow of all of these. The 10, everything kind of in sync together. Another one of my favorite images, having the old scuba gear or diving gear. Not scuba, diving. Yeah. With this message in a bottle here. I really love this whole imagery. Our knight. Oh, this queen. The king. You know, as someone who really looks to the Queen of Cups to like kind of represent my energy most of the time, the fact that she's got this frizzy kind of frazzled hair where it makes me feel like she's a little wild within herself, right? I love the image of this, especially because thus far the readings that I've done with this deck are really kind of in depth. They are a little shadowy. They are kind of real, raw feeling, right? That's the kind of energy that I get from this, like something very primitive and primal. And I think that has to do with the idea that this is about, you know, his, I almost want to say adventures. They're definitely not adventures, you know, his ordeal with night terrors and sleep paralysis and the like. I feel like it does kind of hold that significance to be a darker space in many different ways. And so it feels very primal to me because I've been through sleep paralysis and I've been through some of those things. And I feel like if others have done the same, you can kind of see some of these images and hold some of that space. So the fact that she feels very, I want to say unhinged, but in a good way, I really love the image of that with this Queen of Cups. So then we have our king. and onto our coins. I love these big discs that they hold with the compass. I love how he's burying these. 5. See, again, this feels like a darker space for this 6 of coins. Almost like when charity and giving has strings attached, you know? And you see this kind of fog in the background, just like it's not really over. 7, 8, 9. I feel like the coins are the lightest suit, as in like the feeling, the energy is very light for our coins, where I feel like everything else is a little more dark, like it's in a darker space, and then we have this kind of lighter, as funny as it is, airier coins in many ways. Like it does feel earthy, but it kind of feels airy as well. I find our court does feel a lot more earthy than some of the other ones, but there are the cards. So let me come up a little bit. These are a little stiff. I feel like I have a lot of trouble getting them to bow enough to get a good shuffle. I feel like if I get them into smaller chunks, I almost flung them everywhere, I'm able to shuffle them a little better. I would put it more towards the category with the stiffness as, well, I have it right here, hold on. I was gonna say the Modern Witch Tarot, but I don't think it's that thick. Like, I don't think it's that thick. Like, you can even see the Modern Witch is thicker, but the ability to bend is about the same. I don't know. It is thick. It's a thick cardstock, and it's not very pliable. But I feel like after a lot of use, this will only get easier. Like I said, I feel like I can get it shuffled. But I do have to break it apart a little. This is all gonna get mixed up. I'm trying not to, but I mean, like reversals and stuff. So you see, when I get them in a smaller chunk, I can do it. But when it comes to like the full deck, you can see my stuff wants to kind of bow down, so I'm gonna do them like this real quick. Because they want to go that way, I can grip them a little better, but then it's to try to work them backwards, you know? So this is chunky. It's got some really good cardstock, like I said. I feel like this would hold up okay. I feel like after a bit of use, though, because of the type of cardstock, like you're gonna get... Now, I'm speculation. This is speculation. I would say you would probably find that you're going to have some edge deterioration. Like, I feel like after a while, the edges are going to get a little kind of messed up or kind of coming apart. But that's just if I had to guess. Let's see. I've been watching so many people do this like side shuffle. I find it really hard to do with smaller decks. Now my big green Thoth, I can do this with, but I can move it. But like, you know, this if you're that kind of shuffler, you could definitely do that. It does spread really nicely. It spreads really good. Overhands, underhand, whatever. So let's talk about the guidebooks and stuff. The sun. Let's do this. So I'm going to show you what's in the... Now it is hard to get this box open sometimes. This little white book. So in the sun, we have emergence, energy, radiance, success, prosperity, vitality, and positivity. Now then we have this big book. So let's talk about this book for a second. Let me kind of push this up. Let's talk about this book. It is a very nice size book, as you can see. We have glossy, full page for each and every entry. At the very beginning, we have a preface that kind of talks about his process and things. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything. We have his sketches, how he was mapping everything out about him, and a special thanks. We have the image that's on the little white book. This beautiful image, and then the one of the star. So, oh, and the hermit. Let me get to the sun. So we're going to have the same keywords here. Okay? So, as we look at this, I will read. The sun illuminates a rider draped in a ruby veil as he sits upon a white horse, which stands proudly atop a monolithic stone wall. The rider displays a long banner that flows in the sea breeze. After successfully overcoming obstacles and challenges, the rider basks in the sunbeams on the horizon. He recounts the knowledge and strength that was obtained on his journey. Passion and purity are expressed through the red and white fabrics worn by the horse and rider. Only after climbing to the top could the rider see the beauty beyond the stone barrier. The sun is a self-portrait that was taken on the wave-beaten sea walls of Long Island, New York. Several yards of linen were stitched together to create the lengthy garb for the rider. So you can see it kind of really takes it all in. It really takes it all in. Now, I will say some of my favorite things, like, again, talking about the reflection here, right? Just really interesting thoughts about the hangman. And then it tells you a little bit about what happened here. So I enacted the hanged man for this challenging and difficult self-portrait. The character's act of ultimate surrender and suspension directly correlates to my experiences with sleep paralysis, where I find myself paralyzed, immobile, and at the mercy of my dreams. I have also endured similar inversions during long, various out-of-body movements following the conclusion of sleep paralysis episodes. Although the creation of this image was arduous, it is therapeutic for me to transform my negative experiences into positive works of art. So I thought that was really, really interesting. There were a couple of instances where he talks about his grandmother, which is where he had the tarot knowledge from. He found it in his grandmother's things. I was trying to see if I could find, because they talk about his, I think in this one, because I believe that's her sewing machine. Okay, yeah, the antique sewing machine featured in this composition once belonged to Yaya, my great-grandmother. I discovered Yaya's tarot deck as a child, and it would later inspire me to create the Somnia tarot. So a lot of the things kind of belonged to his grandmother. And again, we have some really interesting just visuals and the explanation of, you know, what it is, why it is, and I just found that incredibly interesting. So, again, this deck is definitely one that I feel has so much depth and so much, I don't know, like personal energy, I think is the best way to describe it. I think because there are like self-portraits, and this is about an ordeal, and it is like pictures of actual set up things that just kind of bring it into kind of like this, it's like mixing like a dreamlike state with reality. It's like a combination of these two worlds where it's like it's hard to tell what is a dream and what is real. That's what this feels like. And I think that's why I enjoy this so much. Number one, because of the shrouded figures, and that kind of imagery really resonates with me. As well as, you know, just the kind of whole story behind it. So that is the Somnia Tarot, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of Somnia Tarot. I'm really curious because I know there's going to be some changes that are going to be made for the second edition and different things like that, but I'm really interested to see if you guys have it, how you use it, if you want it, like where is it, what is it? Let me know down below. Also, if you are looking to join the Mystic fam, those links are going to be down below. Etsy, how to book a reading, 3 Fat Readers, if you haven't seen, all kinds of other stuff. So if you're looking for anything that I've either shown, the Somnia Tarot, or any of my links to anywhere else, those are all going to be down below. And, yeah, we will talk very soon. I'm sending you all my love. Mwah! Later, Gators!